From her earliest years, Dami was a child who adored drawing. Since then, almost 30 years have passed, but the girl has retained her desire and talent. Of course, she did not manage to become an artist, but she became the curator of Chum Art Gallery, where she has been working diligently for the past 5 years. With the utmost dedication to her work, Dami does literally everything at the gallery, from receiving paintings to renovating the space to prepare it for the next great exhibition. Despite her efforts, Dami goes unnoticed and unappreciated as all credit and praise is directed towards the art gallery director. Realizing that the exhibition can do without her, the girl escapes to devote time to her main hobby. After changing her clothes and hiding her face behind a mask, Dami arms herself with a camera to meet Xian, a member of a popular music band that all the girls, including Dami, are crazy about. She realizes that she is a little older than the guy, but that doesn't stop her from not only loving him, but also running an amateur website about his idol, which is very popular. At the concert, the girl is ready for literally everything and jumps above everyone to catch a bottle of water from her favorite singer. This is not the first trophy, because she is the most devoted fan, but Dami is not going to stop there. In the evening, she learns that Xian adores Lissel's paintings and decides to buy him a work by the little-known artist as a gift for his approaching birthday. Meanwhile, a famous art critic named Ryan Gold is working in New York. He determines the value of paintings at a glance, and the success of artists depends solely on the man's evaluation. In the past, he was a good painter, but due to stress, he can't touch a canvas. The psychologist tries to help cope with this problem, but so far everything is unsuccessful, because Ryan lacks inspiration. Soon, Dami receives another assignment from the director, according to which she must go to China and buy several paintings of a famous artist for the next exhibition. Her mother believes that her daughter is deceiving her and wants to travel after the musician, but the girl denies it. The mother reacts angrily to any memories of singers. Because of one of the concerts, the girl did not go to the exam and broke her arm, never becoming an artist. The woman criticizes her daughter for being a fan, but Dami is sure that this is hereditary, because her mother loves to sew, and her father cannot tear himself away from compositions of stones. A couple of days later, Dami arrives in China for an auction, and Ryan is also here, inspired by Lissel's works. The girl buys the necessary paintings for the gallery and at some point looks at the man sitting next to her, because he seems something similar to Xian. Ryan offers Dami an introduction and embarrasses her with his insolence, after which another lot appears, a painting by Lissel, which the girl would like to give to the singer. Ryan also wants to buy it, so the two get into a race, raising the price of the painting. In the end, the girl doesn't have enough money and takes offense at the insolent rich man who values paintings for their craftsmanship, not the artist's last name. As soon as the girl returns to Korea, she is immediately arrested and taken to the police. As it turns out, the director and her husband are involved in fraudulent schemes, and the investigation believes that Dami is involved. In the evening, the girl is released home, where she meets a rich friend Sanja, whose parents own a restaurant and hotel nearby. The girl supports Dami in a difficult situation and offers to find a new job. In the morning, Dami has her first interview, and it turns out to be quite successful. When she returns to the gallery, she decides to quit, but the director offers to take her place as the most worthy candidate. Dami is overjoyed, as she has been dreaming about it since the first day, and decides to refuse other job offers. The next night, she goes to the airport to do another exclusive photo shoot. Noticing the crowd of fans, the girl realizes that the stars will go around and waits for them on the other side of the hall. Dami manages to take unique photos of Xian, but she is constantly interrupted by a man walking ahead. A crowd of female fans chases the musicians, as a result of which Dami falls from the stepladder right on top of the man, in whose face she recognizes the impudent Ryan. He would like to unmask her and demand an apology, but the girl escapes, losing her wallet. In the evening, she publishes new photos on her website and continues to increase the popularity of the blog. Ryan is the only one who responded categorically about the singer, believing that he has no talent and only fans help him to be famous. The next morning, Dami is disappointed to announce that a person from the US will take over the director's position. She would like to take the life of the former director, but has to endure her bullying, just breaking the career of the unfortunate girl. A friend again supports Dami and suggests checking into the room where Shihan lived. It turns out that it was occupied by another man and Seonju tries to negotiate with him. The man is Ryan, but he flatly refuses to give up the room key. A little later, he notices Seonju with a girl and assumes that they are in love with each other. Not wanting to think in stereotypes, Ryan gives up the room key, allowing the girls to spend the night in the suite and replicate Shian's legendary photos. The next morning, Dami does return to the gallery as she suddenly meets a visitor, who turns out to be Ryan and, startled by him, falls down the stairs again. When she found out that Ryan was the new director who had arrived from the USA, she was very upset and hurried to her friend to share her worries. Meanwhile, Ryan was returning home and through the window of the cafe, he noticed Seonju hugging Dami, which confirms his assumption that they are a couple in love. The next day, Ryan informs the staff that he is canceling preparations for another exhibition because he doesn't see any point in it. Dami is outraged by this situation because they have already agreed with the artist, but the new director is not interested in such problems. A little later, Dami has to meet with the elderly artist to inform their decision to abandon his exhibition and apologize for the rude director. The next day, Ryan begins preparations for a completely different composition, but somehow journalists find out about it, which becomes suspicious. Carefully recalling the events, the man realizes that the girl was repeatedly in his office. Believing that she rummaged through his diary with notes and told about his plans to journalists, Ryan fires Dami. In the evening, returning home, the girl learns that her parents have had a fight. Dami tries to reconcile her father and mother, but ends up fighting with her mother over her job. The woman treats her daughter with envy, but is upset when she learns that Dami has been fired. A friend learns of the incident and decides to support her friend by offering her a job at her cafe. The next morning, Ryan shows up at the cafe to place an order and thereby annoys the girl who had recently worked for him. The man treats her a bit rudely and informs her that he doesn't drink coffee despite his workload. On his return to the gallery, he meets one of his subordinates, who decides to confess that she is the one who informed the journalists about his plans. Realizing that he made a mistake, Ryan returns to the cafe to apologize to Dami for unfounded suspicions and accusations. The man offers the girl to return to work at the art gallery, but she refuses, stating that she has dignity too and is not going to run to work on short notice. Before leaving, Ryan orders a glass of milk, but the girl pours coffee. After tasting the drink, the man passes out. A little later, the elderly artist calls Dami and informs her that he is not ready to break the contract, despite the misunderstanding that occurred. Rejoicing at this decision, she returns to the cafe as she suddenly notices Ryan lying on the floor. Frightened, Dami asks her brother to help her and take the man to the hospital. As it turns out, he was allergic to coffee, and the girl feels guilty that she did this to him. Showing concern, Dami stays with Ryan overnight and even holds his hand to calm him down a bit because of his fever. In the morning, when the man wakes up, Dami apologizes for her act and promises to return to work. In turn, Ryan informs her that she should get ready to meet the idol, which greatly pleased the girl, who almost fainted. Waking up at dawn, Dami puts on makeup and prepares for the meeting, believing that the guest will be Shian, who she loves since his debut on the big stage. Soon the girl shows up at the meeting place with a bouquet of flowers and pleasantly shocks Ryan, who didn't expect that she could be so beautiful. Once in Shian's apartment, the girl sees the singer so closely for the first time and can hardly contain herself. She is nervous and asks him to show her where the bathroom is. Carefully looking at every detail, the girl accidentally breaks the shower, causing her to be doused with cold water. Ryan shows concern and gives her his jacket so the girl can get warm. Talking about work, the director of an art gallery asks the singer to borrow paintings from his collection so they can hold an exhibition of Lissel. Hearing a familiar name, Dami says that Ryan also bought her painting in China, but the man denies this fact, thus surprising the girl. In the evening, Dami meets with a friend and tells her that today was one of the happiest days of her life. One of the fans not only noticed the girl, but also took some pictures. She was shocked to see Dami wearing the same jacket as Shian, assuming that she was his lover. Soon these pictures were published on the internet, causing everyone to assume that Dami was the singer's girlfriend. A friend saw this and other photos, suggesting that Dami was deceiving her by hiding her connection with Sheehan. With each passing day, the singer's fans hate the girl more and more, dreaming of being in her shoes. This leads to quarrels and scandals as people find out information about Dami and publish it on social networks. Realizing that he is involved in what happened, Ryan apologizes and feels guilty. A little later, the man offers the girl a ride home and notices that someone is following them. Dami refuses and walks, and Ryan makes sure that someone is indeed watching her. A car tried to hit the girl, but Ryan defended her by sacrificing his car. Ryan immediately claimed that he was Dami's man and she should be left alone, but it turned out that the driver was an old man artist who wasn't planning anything criminal. Ryan convinces the girl that he'll give her a ride, and on the way she thinks about his words to the old man about them being a couple in love. Arriving at the cafe, the man notices Seonju with her husband and child. He assumes that Seonju is cheating on Dami, but the girl explains to him that it's her best friend. At work, Ryan asks the girl to stay honest because journalists do not like deception and will definitely find out everything. Once he and his colleague tried to deceive people, but it led to sad consequences. A little later, it becomes clear that Sheehan, against the background of what is happening, is drawn into a scandal that harms his reputation. In this regard, girlfriends can be excluded from the list of official fans of the singer and banned from attending his concerts. Realizing that the situation is aggravating, the girlfriends come up with a brilliant idea. They suggest Ryan to make some joint photos with Dami so that everyone would think that she is his girlfriend. This would get rid of the annoying groupies and solve Sheehan's problems, who is suffering because of the situation. The next morning, Seonju helps Ryan and Dami take a series of romantic photos, holding hands and hugging. The girl was afraid that the director wouldn't like the whole thing, but he stated that he would tolerate the inconvenience for the common good. At one point, Seonju had to run away to school because his son fell and got injured during an exercise. His teacher turns out to be Dami's brother, who is not actually related to her as the boy was adopted after being found outside the hospital. Meanwhile, Ryan and Dami continued walking around without realizing anything. Soon, Seonju called to say that she was at school, but the couple decided not to be upset and went to an amusement park. Here the couple not only have fun, but Ryan tells about himself and his family. As it turned out, he was adopted, so he lived in the US, but really wanted to come home and maybe find his real parents. In the evening, Dami published a photo with Ryan, thanks to which the rumors about her disappeared and she returned to work with confidence again. The next morning, Dami discovers that Ryan has hired a young and beautiful intern, causing her to become jealous. Returning to her workplace, she accidentally trips and falls on the principal in front of her coworkers, who assume that there is indeed something between them. A little later, Dami's brother arrives at the art gallery, ready to expose the couple and their deception. Ryan is skeptical of the bold claims and convinces him that he shouldn't cause trouble, as he will easily defeat him in martial arts. Soon the couple meets Seonju and finally sort out all the misunderstandings that have arisen between them. As it turns out, Ryan was married, but divorced, after which he pays almost no attention to girls. A couple days later, Ryan and Dami go out of town, but get caught in the rain, getting wet and cold. They are met by an old artist they had planned to get to and invited to their house, so the couple can warm up. Upon returning home, Dami studies the latest photos and looks at Ryan with a smile on her face, recognizing that she cares about him. Using a notebook found at the airport, Ryan knows that Dami isn't just a fan of Sheehan, but also owns a website for his fans. In an attempt to get to know the girl better, he pretends to be one of the fans, secretly infiltrating their community. Soon, there is an exhibition opening, which features paintings that the musician has borrowed. Afraid of gossip and scandal, Dami not only hides her face behind a mask, but also stays away from Sheehan, preventing journalists from taking pictures. After the workday ended, the gallery staff went to a cafe where everyone learned about how Dami and Ryan met. The director said that it first happened at an auction in China. After the sit-down, Dami has to walk the man home as he has had a few too many drinks. The pair make hand-to-hand contact, which seems very romantic, but doesn't allow them to admit to liking each other. Ryan continues to monitor the girl's website to chat with her and get to know her better before proposing something more. Suspecting that the groupie isn't real, Dami decides to conduct a Xian knowledge test, which turns out to be much more difficult than Ryan anticipated. Gathering information from public sources, the man cheats but passes the test. Only one question remains, the answer to which he has no way of finding. Trying not to expose himself, Ryan rushes to the star and studies him thoroughly to avoid making a mistake in the last question. Through a personal interaction with Xian, the art gallery director passes the test and even fleshes out the information, leading Xianju and Dami to believe that this is the singer's true fan. The next morning, the director and Dami meet at work as suddenly another girl runs up to the man and hugs him tightly. Upset and struggling to hide her jealousy, Dami tries to focus on work, but she fails miserably. In an attempt to get to know Ryan better, the girl coaxes her friend to divert his attention. While Xianju began to execute the plan, Dami took the key to the man's apartment under the pretext that his house is happening later because of a broken faucet in the kitchen. Hurrying home, she meets the concierge, but the man lets her in, assuming that Dami is a close acquaintance of Ryan's. Looking around, the girl finds a room with 2 Lissel paintings and a blank canvas with only one brushstroke on it. Ryan returns home early and, seeing Dami home, is angry at the girl for breaking in without permission. Her act led to a fight, as a result of which the director kicked Dami out of her own apartment. In the elevator, the girl met Xian, but did not show as much fan affection as before. Dami realized that she was becoming increasingly attached to the boss, but was afraid to confess her feelings. Realizing that he hurt the girl undeservedly, Ryan seeks her out and kisses her on the roof of the building, not noticing that there was a witness nearby who saw it all. Dami's parents were nearby and also saw what happened, so they insist on meeting Ryan. The communication goes well, and the man learns that the girl used to draw a lot and had talent, but over time she gave up her dream without going to university. In the evening, Ryan gives Dami a ride home and returns to the hotel with a full bag of food that her mother carefully gave him. After hearing about Xian's new concert, the girl changes into her usual look and rushes to the press conference. Ryan knew that she would be there, so he watches Dami with interest, afraid to take off her mask even for the sake of a photo with her idol. Despite this, a coworker recognizes Dami and approaches her, causing the girl to try to flee the scene. Ryan decides to help and stops the coworker, denying that the groupie in black and Dami are the same person. Back home, Dami decides to revisit the photo and realizes that she took Ryan's picture instead of Xianya's. She has nothing to post to the site after meeting her idol, as she only thinks of her boss. Deciding to distract herself, the girl goes to the roof, but soon Ryan comes to her. At first she believes that this is her fantasy, but, having touched the man, she realizes that he is real. The principal has come to return her mother's dishes and accidentally gets dirty on the fresh paint. He asks to be invited home to wash his hands, but the girl is afraid to let Ryan into her apartment, because every object there is associated with Xian. Eventually she allows the director in to wash his hands, but covers his eyes so he can't see anything. Soon after, Dami meets up with her friend and tells her that she has a crush on her boss and would like to confess it to him. Xianju asks her friend to take her time, because it's important to realize that their feelings are mutual. Starting the next day, the girl tried to test Ryan's feelings, but she failed. A little later, the couple has a common problem, as the guy refused to participate in the exhibition due to the disappearance of an important person for him. Ryan offers to solve the problem, but the guy is still against the continuation of the exhibition. A little later, the couple tries to persuade the artist's girlfriend to change her attitude towards him and show up, but she also remains unyielding in her decision. Sometime later, it becomes known that this girl was close to Ryan. Moreover, she would like to return their relationship and openly states this to Dami. From that day on, the relationship between Ryan and Dami sharply deteriorates, despite the fact that the man wanted to confess his sympathy to the girl. Noticing what is happening, colleagues believe that the couple broke up, so they offer Dami to have lunch exclusively in female company. Ryan and his friend also go to this restaurant, which makes the situation as awkward as possible, both for him and for Dami. Ryan is soon greeted by the girl's parents, who once again bring the man food to take care of him. Not wanting to upset the parents, Ryan and Dami pretend to be a couple and play along with the naive father and mother. Going on a picnic, they spend time with their family and forget about all the problems for a moment. In the evening, the girl decides to talk out and goes to her website to search for a companion. By chance, this person turns out to be Ryan, pretending to be one of the fans. Thanks to this, he learns the problems and experiences of Dami and also gives her a couple of useful tips. Despite the evening's dialogue, the next morning the couple further detaches from each other. While the man is busy with business meetings and organizing the next exhibitions, Dami recalls the happy moments spent in Ryan's company. Soon the couple manages to talk privately. The girl wants to understand why the director is so rude to her, but it turns out that he is just afraid of relationships and separation, because it hurts too much. Dami realizes that their love is mutual and offers to still try to establish communication. From that day on, they start spending time together and having romantic dinners, which made them happier. A few days later, Dami shared the happy news with Seonju. At work, they also noticed that the couple has become close again, but the subordinates have too much work to think about it. The gallery's 5th anniversary is approaching, so they need to design a gift for the visitors. Each subordinate presents their ideas and sketches, allowing them to choose the most attractive option. The ex is angry at Ryan because he started dating Dami and is rude to the man, after which she leaves the gallery, having previously had a fight with his girlfriend as well. In the evening, Ryan and Dami go on a romantic date by bus and take some pictures together. Meanwhile, Seonju fights with her husband over the fact that he stole the photos she was hiding and published them without her permission. When Dami returns home, her brother decides to confess his love to her, reminding her that he is adopted and has loved her since day one. Soon, Seonju arrives as well, and the three of them have a drink to settle the situation. Dami only treats her brother as a friend and relative, so she asks him not to make up anything. In the morning, the girl is going to meet Sheehan and puts on black clothes, but Ryan turns up on the doorstep. She asks her brother to hide her behind his back, but soon came out to the principal herself, realizing that they can quarrel. After that, the couple deals with their feelings and sympathy for them from others. Ryan is jealous of the girl to his brother, the artist and the hotel employees, so he wants to hide her from everyone who looks at her with loving eyes. Soon after, a man confesses that a fan on a website that Dami has been chatting with is him, causing the girl to attack him in a frenzy and slap him on the back. After a few hard days at work, Ryan announces that their gallery will soon be hosting an exhibition of Lissel's work. Having met the artist, the director loses the power of speech and looks at her paintings for a long time, because of which all the affairs of the gallery have to be conducted by Dami. A few days later, the girl decides to change the interior of her house and remove some of the photo of the celebrity, which pleases her mother. At the same time, she pounces on her daughter and hits her with a pillow, but Ryan defends the girl. Soon the woman admits that she too is a fan of Sheehan, despite her age. At night, Ryan wakes up because of a nightmare and goes to the girl's house to ask her out. Determined to be sincere, he tells her everything that is bothering him. Not wanting to leave Ryan in a difficult moment, Dami invited the man to her house. The couple watched movies and drank wine until the night, after which they fell asleep in their arms. In the morning, the girl was alarmed by this, but happy, because next to her is not indifferent to her man. Knowing that Ryan grew up in an orphanage, Dami offers to go to the orphanage and please the unfortunate children. Soon colleagues collect clothes and toys, and Sheehan, who learned about the initiative, helps them. Rejoicing at the good deed, the couple goes to the orphanage, where they play with the children and teach them to draw. Giving in to the romantic mood, Dami and Ryan decide to leave their handprints on a piece of paper and help each other draw them. A little later, Ryan admits that he used to be an artist, but after seeing Lissel's work, he lost his inspiration. For 3 years, the man has not drawn anything, which shocks Dami. After returning home, the couple plays cards, and in the morning Ryan is visited by his neighbor's mother. The girl begins to question why Ryan looks like Sheehan to her. Heading to the library, she researches information and soon comes to the conclusion that they share the same mother and the two men she has grown to love are siblings who have never interacted with each other due to Ryan growing up in an orphanage. Trying to make sure of the assumptions, the girl invited Sheehan and his mother to the exhibition. During the presentation of the paintings, Ryan looks suspiciously at Sheehan's mother, as if he sees his mother to her, but does not understand these strange feelings. During the interaction, another secret is revealed that neither Ryan nor Dami knew. As it turns out, Lissel is Xian's mother, who draws the pictures that Ryan likes so much. In the evening, he invites the woman over to his place to show off the paintings he has collected in his bedroom. The director tells her his real name, which was given to him at birth, and shocks Lysol as she realizes that this is her son. Unbelieving the reality of what is happening, the woman distances herself from Ryan, after which he and she cry. A little later, Dami calms and supports the man, and the next morning, Lysol visits him. She admits that she got rid of her son because of financial problems, but repents leaving him alone in the middle of the park. Back at the gallery, mother and sons look at the paintings from a different angle, realizing that Lissel was displaying her children's dreams on canvas. Meanwhile, Dami's brother begins to bond with her best friend, who has gone through a divorce from her husband. In the evening, Dami's mother is sad as she reminisces about the time they adopted the boy. She was going through a difficult time as the couple lost the child. Dami cries as she learns that she is the one responsible for what happened to her real little brother. Soon the families let go of the pain of the past and try to live in the present. Ryan and Dami's mothers get to know each other, realizing that their children are in love and could be a wonderful couple. They attend another successful exhibition, supporting Dami and Ryan, as well as Xian, who is actively involved. After a job well done, the couple is offered an exhibition in the US, and they are a little confused, not realizing if it's worth it. Dami is up for it and suggests Ryan not to turn down the tempting offer. A couple weeks later, the couple goes on a work trip. A year later, they return home and learn that brother Dami and Xiangju are now together. They spend time both at the gym and at coffee shops, raising Dami's best friend's son. Back at her apartment with Ryan, the girl reminds him that today is her birthday. The man has prepared a special gift, making her a marriage proposal. Having agreed, Dami finally found happiness because she has a husband, her favorite brother and Ryan's brother, whom she appreciates as a musician.